Mancinella is a very, very interesting remedy, as you may find it also, and a remedy which I have prescribed it in the first, good morning. We have been prescribing in the beginning of our practices for about once every 2 years, where when we came, especially myself, when I came to understand Mancinella better, there are a lot of cases that they are needing it, especially in our today's society. Mancinella is a phobic remedy. Phobic is a remedy which covers a specific area of phobias, and the combination of the fears of these phobias, together with the type of person who has them, makes it for a Mancinella state, and I shall describe it soon. The Mancinella patient, and I have found it to be indicated mostly in women, are rather weak-willed individuals with a kind of weak intellect, a kind of intellect which suits the description of argentum nitricum, but they are not impulsive in the way, of course, that argentum nitricum is. This weak intellect and weak will allows for certain fixed ideas to come into the mind and take hold of the mind and torment it. Now, in the beginning stages, we may find different fixed ideas, like I'll just give you a few examples to get an idea, that a man thinks, the idea comes to his mind that his wife is not really a woman, but it's a homosexual who has been by operation become a woman. Now this is a totally mad idea, but it comes to the mind and all the time it sticks there, and he knows logically that this is not so, but the idea sticks more and more. And then they get in the beginning stages again, they get all sorts of fears, especially in the night, and there is an aggravation in the night, in the darkness, where they cannot feel in the darkness if there is something, a cupboard is open. That produces such a fear that I have to get up and go and close it. They are indescribable fears, like you may confuse them with fears of phosphorus at that stage, because it will be fear of darkness, fear of seeing things in the dark. But that is not a fear only, it is a fixed idea that something is going to come out from that thing. Now the mind, as the pathology progresses, becomes weaker and weaker. And then the first glimpses of a fear that no, my mind is not working properly. Something must be wrong with my mind. Something must be wrong with my mind. And this idea sticks, something must be wrong with my mind. And on the other hand, they say, no, I'll take it away from my mind. This is nothing wrong with my mind. I'll take it away from my mind. So there is there's something wrong with your mind. No, it's not something wrong with my mind. And start a battle inside and say, no, no, I'm not, no. And then suddenly one day the idea comes that they are getting mad. You see, because they have these different fixed ideas, different mad ideas, finally the realization comes that I'm going to get mad. And then immediately they try to push away this thought out of their mind. And the weakness of their intellect and the weakness of their will, and then admits more and more of this idea. And the more it admits of the idea that I'm going to go crazy, I'm going to go crazy, the more they battle. That I am not going to get crazy. I'm going. Now, what remedy does it? This battle inside. No. What is another remedy that battles with a mental situation and gets tired from that? No. Just take away your mind from this fear. Just another remedy that battles inside to not to succumb to the impulses that they get. Well, person. There is a battle inside in natrum sulfuricum. There is a battle inside. No, I'm not going to commit suicide. I'm not going to commit. You should not. I must not. I must not. No, you commit suicide. You commit suicide. No, I must not. You commit suicide. No, I must not. They get tired from this battle. Now, the same thing happens in Mancinella in this respect. You will see in most of the cases there is a tremendous battle. No, I'm not going to get crazy. I'm not going to get crazy. I shall not get crazy. Eventually, they are caught in that situation where all day the mind is around, I'm getting crazy, I'm not going to get crazy, I'm getting crazy, I'm not going to get, no, I should not get crazy. And there is an agony, a tremendous suffering in these people. Now, when the pathology progresses, some nights it comes vivid fear that now I'm getting crazy and I'm going to kill my child. And I'm going to kill my child. Oh, I shall get crazy. Oh my God. There's an agony, and they will get up, they will put on the lights, they will try to get away. When they come to the consultation room and they will describe their suffering, I mean, they will not say many words. It's not like expressive. You see, remedies are not as expressive as I make them when I speak. They're not expressive as argentum nitricum, but you read through through their eyes, through their fears, what they are going through, what tremendous. Says, oh my God, it's terrible, you know. But you're suffering a lot with this fear. You cannot get it out of your mind. No. No. I know it's crazy. I mean, but I cannot get it. I try, but I cannot get it. You see the suffering, and it is not an impulsiveness. We have other remedies that have the impulse to kill their children, their fear that they may kill their children, like sulfur, tear, one of the main remedies, Nux vomica, one of the main remedies also, and mercury, and alumina, and argentum nitricum, if you have read my papers. But this is another kind of fear. It's not an impulse. No, I'll take, they see something, the argentum nitricum. They see a pistol, or they imagine a pistol, taking the pistol and an impulse, killing the child. Here it is the fear. I'm getting crazy, and while I'm crazy, during my crazy fit, I will kill my child. The mind goes there, towards this direction, where we do not have, in the books it's not mentioned at all, for fear of killing the child. Mancinella is one of the main remedies when we say that. especially when it's coupled with a fear of insanity, especially when it's coupled with a battle, with an effort to get rid of that idea. The situation is a little bit black here. Inside, there is a darkness in the soul of the person. What I found out, a darkness. What I found out, the soul is a kind of darkness pervaded. Now this feeling will come through to you, or the patient himself will describe it in such words as to give you the idea. You see, because many times, these Mancinella cases, they will say that what they feel, it is the devil that put this idea in them. So there are the dark forces as we know it. There is in the conscience of the people the devil, which they have personified this dark element, this negative element in us, and they will express it in this way. Therefore, they will be battling with a kind of evil forces all the time, evil forces, evil forces. And they will believe eventually that the evil forces have enforced upon them these fears and these states in which they are. And you see, this, the idea is they get more and more darkness inside, more and more darkness, more and more devil, more and more the Satan, more and more the fear of inside, more and more going, and more, I'm going to kill my child, I have fear. And I'll find some expressions here I will give you. But it's interesting, you see, you get this dark kind of, it's not the dark personality, it's a dark soul. It's a soul living in darkness. And now you also get the feeling that the sex sphere is somewhat affected. They will not accept it. They will not say they are oversexed and going beyond the normal. And they are people. That is strange, and I have found it many times. They are people because they are weak in their intellect, weak in their will. They are people who are led to do things by others, to be suppressed easily by others. Not exactly suppressed, but it seems that this dark element in them is easily affected by the other person, the other partner in sex. So you will see in sex something which is not clear, is not lighted, is not normal altogether. There is a kind of abnormal sexuality which is going on most of the times without being affected. Sometimes they will it will be in their conscious mind, you see. What can happen is that the woman feels that has been led by the husband to do some sex which is not absolutely normal, etc., and they do not like it, and then these fears comes. You see, you have to conceive the whole person. These fears are there, and they are led by the husband to have some abnormal sex, and then more fear comes, and what am I doing? It's the evil, it's the devil. My husband is the devil eventually, and then they will try to go to the church to find some solace in the church. But of course, in such pathological cases, there is not solace in the church. But what we receive as therapists, we perceive that dark element in the person that is beginning to to grow more and more. And they start seeing devils. In the book, I think in the repertory, it says delusions of devils. It's not exactly delusions of devils. It is, they feel, for instance, another woman will feel that a kind of subconscious attraction to the brother. And they will have some, what's called conflicts. And subconsciously she's attracted to the brother, and this is not right, and etc., etc. And eventually the brother becomes the devil. For me, my brother is a devil, she says. They take because he treats me badly. They give different excuses. They get Mancinella, and they say the brother is normal, and there's nothing wrong with the brother.
It's a kind of guilt.
It's a kind of guilt. Yes, a guilt, but now these are weird individuals. They have no power to resist many things. Very little things they can resist. And their instincts are not of the highest quality. So they cannot resist their instincts. They have somebody who is attracting them towards what is not normal according to them. According to them, everything that happens is not normal. And there comes the situation starts. I'm not normal, I'm not, my mind is going crazy, I'm going to get crazy, now I'm crazy. Where in the night especially, they will go to bed, and the terrific fear of getting crazy is so much. You see, in our repertories it says a fear of insanity in the night is mercury, but Mancinella also is a remedy which is aggravated in the night very much, in the darkness. There is definitely an aggravation from darkness, which I also don't think is in Ken's repertory. The most of the fears, they come in the night, and they can even shout sometimes, especially if they feel that the family will support their shouting. That means they will not immediately grasp them and take them to the mental asylum. You see, I'm not feeling well. They put on the lights, they want to talk to somebody, they want to persuade themselves that they are not getting crazy. But this battle is a battle which finally you feel it's a lost battle. She says, no, okay, there is no possibility, I am crazy. You see all this battle, but you see fear of insanity. Which are the remedies which they have fear of insanity? Pulsatilla calcarea, cannabis indica, very much. Mancinella, the main remedies. Each one of them has a different fear of insanity. You see, when in a case you get, I have fear of insanity, it's a flat symptom which you cannot evaluate. You give calcarea, you give pulsatilla, you may give this, you may give that. Mancinella, in order to prescribe Mancinella, it has to have that type of fear. That type, with the element of darkness, with the element in sex which is a little bit not normal, with the element of the Satan, of the devil overtaking them. Somewhere you will see that. They will not all say the devil. Many of them, they will say it. They will say the word, you see. My husband is the devil, or the devil is putting in my mind these ideas, and I know it's the devil, I'm going to fight him. They are not strong enough to fight. They try to fight. But their intellect is so weak that it admits more and more. Actually, the pathology grows and grows and grows unless you give Mancinella. In such cases, we used to give calcarea, cannabis indica, pulsatilla, etc. Nothing, nothing. Worse, more, a little bit better now. More worse now. I want to kill my child now. Oh my God, what happens now? He's going to kill the child. You know, then the Mancinella picture eventually came more and more. Well, you will see also in their weak intellect symptoms which are tallying very much, which are very close with argentum nitricum symptoms. For instance, they drive a car, They drive a car and they pass a person, they bypass a person which is near. And near is 1 meter to 2 meters, according to them. They bypass the person here. They will go all around and come back and see that the person is alive. Because their feeling is, I've killed the person, I've killed the person, I've killed the person. They have to come back again all the way around to see that I have not killed the person. Oh, I have not killed the person. And they can continue. Or the idea sticks into their mind. You see that I hit somebody, and there was a policeman, and he must have taken my number. Oh, he took my number. I mean, they imagine that they have made an accident, and the policeman has took my, and this idea sticks into the mind. They cannot get over it. Socially, how they will behave, these people. I mean, now you can make almost out how they will behave socially. With this weakness of intellect, weakness of will, will be outgoing or will be timid. Timid. They are very timid. Lack of, you can say lack of self-confidence. They are timid. They are, in a party, they will never get up and dance. They will sit back. There is something wrong. They feel that they are half man or half woman. They are not completely present to enjoy themselves in a party, or they become timid, they are introverted, they sit aside in a corner without talking. And you get the idea, even when they talk, that their intellect is not very bright. And they feel that, and they keep more quiet. Another example, which I gave you with the car, is the example of argentum nitricum. They have exactly the same symptom when they are in a high place. They see themselves going down and crashing, and the brain is open, and then they go back. Exactly the same thing. When you hear it, you may give argentum nitricum. It's so close, so the description is so close that you may prescribe argentum nitricum. They are not expressive, as we said. But their weakness makes them being attached, very much attached to the people with whom they live. They depend on these people, so they get attached, and they get very anxious if something happens to them. Anxiety about others, for instance, like barita carbonica type of anxiety. Between barita carbonica and arsenicum anxiety, because they feel secure with their husband, with their what's called their family, so they get very anxious if something happens to them. Also, there is another element which I have seen frequently. They know they are weak-willed and weak intellect, and they want to be strong. They want to present an idea of strong, of being hard, of things like that. So they will say, I present another idea outside of what I feel. It's the same battle between you getting crazy. No, I'm not getting crazy. I'm weak. No, I'm not weak. I'm going to show I'm not weak. I'm not weak. And no, but I am weak. No, I'm going to show I'm not weak. This same battle, you will see. You see how they are ready for a schizophrenic state if they come to us just before breaking down completely and going into the mental asylum and then forget them. Because once they get the largactil and the alloperidine and the big remedies, you cannot anymore see this picture where with Mancinella you cut them down, you stop them down, you take them all the way back. An expression says, maybe I get irritated inside, but I will not show it. They will present another picture outside of what they feel inside. They prefer, of course, small companies. They don't like big companies with many people. And they have a fear of crowd. I don't know if Kent mentions fear of crowd. Mancinella, just Jeremy, look at David. Just fear in the crowd. It's not there.
Fear of being taken by the devil.
Hereby taken, yeah. This is the expression we have in the repertory. We will never see it said in this way. What happened is what I described to you. Fear I shall be taken by the tail. Maybe Ken or somebody in the experiment expressed it this way, and it has been in the repertory in this way. What we have to, you see, I was expecting also to hear, fear I shall be taken by the devil. It didn't occur in this way. It might, in a case, maybe they will express it this way.
The devil is inside.
Right?
The devil is inside, it's coming from...
Yeah. The devil is putting the ideas. The devil is inside. I have the devil inside. The kind of possessed people. You know, you feel that they go in towards the state where they will feel absolutely possessed by the devil. It is a fight between the individual and the devil that will not affect, the devil will not affect them.
George, would you add it to fear of evil?
Fear of evil.
Yeah, it's not in that rubric.
Yes, fear of evil, definitely. What another thing that happens is that they go to sweep the floor, and in the floor, suddenly they will see different kinds of colors which they do not exist, and then the fear comes. Where it comes from this? And they say, "Oh, I'm getting crazy." They will. They're doing clerical work. They write, and they have the impression that a kind of animal is going through. They turn around with a. It's like they describe it as a kind of jerk in the moment they get the fear. It's like jerking inside the brain. You know, I'm getting crazy. They look there, and there is a picture on the wall. Looking there, and their eye catches a little bit of that picture, and they see the picture moving, and they get it. I'm getting crazy. I'm getting crazy. They're paralyzed. they will stop working. They are looking like lost people, you know, because all the time optical delusions of that type, colors, moving objects, moving pictures in the wall, moving this, moving, and every time, because somebody may have an optical delusion because there is something in the eye, etc. I mean, you see there, oh, I thought it was something passing. They don't take care, you know. And for these people, this phenomenon becomes a causative factor for the fear to jump up into tremendous intensity.
Could cannabis have a similar type of thing? Seems like it could.
These optical delusions.
Along with the fear?
I believe it must, but I have not seen it as much in his Mancinella. You see, normally, logically, one would say that they will have that because of the provings of, but I have not seen. I've seen another type of loss of control. Do you know my cannabis indica?
Yes.
You have read a little bit, yes.
George, I had a patient who said that she was receiving radio messages in her ear telling her to do evil things. Would this be the same sort of thing?
Yes, but you have to be careful, because this can be anacardium or can be other remedy. It has to have insight. I mean, if she says that, find out whether there is a battle. I'm not going to do it. There is a battle. I'm not going to do it. And also that my mind is weak. Oh, it's breaking down. Oh, I'm getting crazy. If that is the picture, definitely you give it. They will be easily offended, or you feel that they will be easily offended, such people? Yeah. Sure. They're easily offended, very easily offended. But will they express their anger? No.
Would they have no sense of humor as well? No sense.
No. No sense of humor. During their period of illness, if they get well, then they are jovial people, and I mean, it's another kind of people. If you treat them and you cure them, then the natural character comes. They can be jovial, they can be anything. But during the time of being sick, they have fear and vertigo from high places. In the beginning, they can be fear. They can express this fear and vertigo from high places. There is an aggravation in the night, as I said, and also a fear of going out by themselves in the night. Fear of going out by themselves. This state of mind has been produced by this kind of society in which we live. This kind of fears. It is a mad world in which we live. Actually, what they feel is not far from reality. We have to battle. We have to battle all the time with what is right, what is wrong, etc. I mean, do I do the right thing, etc. And because the right and the wrong has become so prominent in our society, they are having weak intellect and weak constitutions and will. They feel much more that kind of battle that goes on to every one of us, and they become victims of the manifestation of our society. Because I cannot account how many Mancinellas I have seen the last few years. Maybe, of course, I know better the remedy, but I believe that not too many people would 100 years ago would be in that state of Mancinella.
This battle that they have, how does it compare with the Anacardium battle?
The Anacardium battle is between evil and good. It's very clear, evil and good. It's here the battle is between myself and the devil. It's a different thing. Do not generalize it. Between myself, I'm not going to get crazy. It is the battle which we have with natrum sulfuricum, mostly. I will make it. Because it makes them tired. It's a battle where they give a lot of energy. It makes them tired and makes them feel that they're going to give up. Like the natrum sulfuricum, the battle, I want to kill myself, he says, but I should not do it. But there is no point in living. And there is no way that I shall go through. That battle makes them tired. Really, you feel that they are really battling. You see this type of people. There is a Mancinella dormant, of course, for these people to come up. But it will come up with situations where they get entangled and they feel the evil forces. I mean, whatever is the situation will have potentially the possibility of evil forces. What everybody feels is the evil forces. It's coming up, that overtakes them. And from that moment onwards, it starts the pathology. Now, I just have an example in front of me. She says, this whole scene started from a film. Which film?
Exorcist.
The Exorcist. Yeah. And what she gets, immediately she gets the fear that she will be, the devil will be inside her. And stop sleeping by herself in the night. They cannot in the night feel that they are by themselves in a dark place. It's very, very difficult for them.
Does the problem often start?
The idea of hearing the name, the devil, are you afraid of the devil? It has an impact on them. They depend on their husbands. They need their husband. Their husband must be there in the night. If one night the husband has to sleep in another place, I mean, they will not care about whether he's sleeping with another woman. They will care that he's not there to protect them in the night. The fear of high places also, it's almost constant in the Mancinella. And of course, you will get a strong fear something bad is going to happen, something bad. This fear of insanity, before it crystallizes itself into fear of insanity, it is fear something bad will happen, something of something bad, but not from the outside. Something bad is going to happen inside. Sometimes you will see a great thirst before menses. Preliminary symptom is that they feel that the head is caged by what's called this wires, by wires. You know, it's caged by wires. It's like when they have an electroencephalogram. I feel these wires around them. This is the feeling that I have. Preliminary.
Otherwise tight.
Yeah, a tightness and a feeling of, you see, it's not a tightness like that. It's a feeling that wires are tied around the brain. You see, one of the patients says she has a lot of dreams with snakes, but the snakes, she said, symbolized her own brother, and she killed the snakes. The snakes in her dream, it was as if it was the brother, but it was a snake, and she killed the snake. The snake is a symbol of sexualism, and here is the subconscious sexualism towards the brother. And she says, I see my brother as the devil, and I avoid to look at his eyes. Consciously, she says that. Subconsciously, it's the darkness in element, that element, this, we know Mancinella has this sexuality which is not very normal. So you will be treating, with this mental picture, you will be treating any element, but mainly they get sinusitis, they get bronchitis, they get a psychogenic dyspnea, also dyspnea without much pathology behind. Sometimes they will, I mean, all this battle will leave them with a sense of depression and that life it does not worth living, and they have to kill themselves. And they have the tendency to kill themselves. But once the idea comes to the mind, again the same thought comes. You see, it's the devil who's put this into me. No, you will not get your own thing. You see, say inside. No, I will not. So that they resist. But they resist, they will tell you that they resist like an atom sulfuricum. But it is not now, you see, it is the devil, the idea that some evil forces have put this idea inside. That makes it a Mancinella.
George? The texts, and also I remember Vithoulkas mentioned Mancinella in relationship to puberty. I was wondering if you've ever seen this specifically, or
What do you mean to
it just talked about. I remember Vithoulkas said, "What type of fear of insanity do you see in Mancinella?" And he talked about it in young girls at puberty. And the books talk about the Mancinella symptoms coming up at puberty. They seem to emphasize.
Yeah, this is in the books mostly. I have not seen that. But it is true, it is written in the books.
What age group are the patients you
Oh.
generally see that needed Mancinella?
Manchineel I have seen from, say, 30, between 30 and 50, 60, around that area, mostly.
Because it does seem particularly that for puberty there are also a lot of poisonings with certain drugs as well. A lot of drug poisonings seem to produce a lot of these symptoms, cannabis poisoning, LSD poisoning.
Yeah.
LSD very much.
They're very much.
What is?
LSD very much.
LSD, yes. Maybe Mancinella can be used as an antidote towards these states, definitely, especially the acute states.
Also, this duality from chemotherapy drugs, a sense of duality
And sensual duality.
in the mind, this battle.
Yeah, yeah. But it's not the duality of anacardium.
No.
Huh? You must not confuse it. As I told you, they will seek solace to the religious books or churches, etc. And they will be praying. Which is the other remedy that is praying? Eh? Stramonium, no. What? No. Aurum. Aurum. The praying. But do you know why? Huh? Yeah, the state, they go around, nothing, stillness. And then they feel, I cannot exist like that. Now what happens? God help me, God help me, God help me. You see, God help me. That's the idea then. Giving up completely. So there are two types of praying. The one is almost impulsive and in a slight state of depression. The other is in a deep depression where they feel now it's the end is approaching. I mean, I'm going to jump. There is no way of living. There is no reason why I should live. I'm going to jump. Before they jump, these ideas comes inside. I say, God help me, God help me. This is a terrific and anguistic urge to hold on to life. The last efforts. And then you give them aurum and everything clears up. Then relationship become alive again. Oh, I have my friends. Oh, I have my wife. I have the children. It's like opening up to the light, living in darkness. Yes.
In a case like that, how long would you expect before you'd see them?
In a case like that, 24 hours. Big depressions like that, they will go in 24 hours. Maybe there will be an aggravation. When you see cases like that, you say, you telephone to me in the evening, you telephone to me in the morning, you telephone to me in being in contact, because maybe an aggravation. I remember one of the last cases where the doctor said she has locked herself in the room because she doesn't want to jump from the balcony. You said the impulse is that she will jump, so she has locked. I said, keep in touch. It lasted for 2 days. And it went away, a very big depression. She locked herself, she wouldn't go outside on the balcony. She wouldn't go outside of the house. I said, okay, tell her to stay inside. There's somebody in the house, always to look after, all these arrangements, things like that. Big pathology states where you have to be careful not to make mistakes. When?
Eventually there will be another layer coming through the forum. It's quite a deep.
Most probably, but maybe it's a constitutional remedy also. That means what we mean by constitutional remedy. Maybe aurum, and then after 3 months, 5 months, it's sulfur, yes. But maybe aurum, and again aurum, and again aurum. Especially we see that because homeopathy is not available easily to the people, they are in Alonissos, in another island, and they're by themselves, and they have a small accident, they have an acute, they take antibiotics and they take allopathic drugs, and they go to the dentist. These cases will antidote, most probably, our remedies. And we see relapses. When there is a possibility that if somebody takes antibiotics, that still survives. But I will say it's 80% that will relapse and 20% that will survive a series of antibiotics. That shows for us what is the real effect of antibiotics in our body, how they break down defenses. Also the dentist who uses these drugs, put the injections to make numb the novocaine and procaine they use, has a big effect on the system.
What about honey gallstones?
Also, if they use this olive of cloves, I found it very bad, because they put it a few days inside, And then in the meantime, you feel all the time the taste of that oil. And for a few days, you have it there with the feeling, waiting to disinfect the cavity. And then, after a few days like that, it starts coming down, the whole organism. Just from, but not the feeling, not the feeling, no. There is some idea that the amalgam, which contains mercury a lot, might have an effect. But I reason out and I say, we're having so much an effect. We have plumbum outside that we get all the time. We have all kinds of chemicals in the foods that we ingest. We have the Coca-Cola, we have all this. I mean, how can we protect ourselves from microdoses of such metals, which they come inside and they affect our health? We are going to be affected, never mind. But I mean, the feelings also might have an effect, but it is not dramatic, like the antibiotics, like the cortisone, like the hormones that they use, and like the anesthetics which dentists use.
Yes. Going back to Mancinella, I'm
yes.
sure I had Mancinella. I didn't cure her, so I got to know her quite well.
Yes.
And she was about 20, and
yes.
she was from Iran.
Very?
From Iran.
From Iran, yes.
Living in London.
Yes.
But her devil, well, her problems with her father.
Yeah.
And she had to leave Iran to get away from her father.
Yes.
That's the first thing. She was a student in England, that was her way of survival. But because of intellect, she was actually a lousy student.
Yeah.
So she'd be bottom of the class.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that fits in.
Yes.
She was also ringing up a lot.
Yes.
Does that fit in?
Yes. They have great anxiety before they get cured.
Anxiety about going crazy?
Yes.
You might say.
Yes. Definitely. Going crazy and especially killing their own children. Did you have that?
They don't have children. But they were as crazy, the devil and bad were keener. There's something bad inside.
Yeah.
Crazy. Am I crazy, doctor? Am I crazy? The words that she often asked me.
Yeah.
She was asked to seek for reassurance and advice, but it would never hold. She told anything, by the time she came back, she'd forgotten it. And the next bit of advice, she got herself down, can't do anything.
Yeah, it sounds like Mancinella, definitely.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm still certain it's Mancinella.
Yeah, sure.
She had period problems, basically a period problem. That's all.
They can have any kind of physical element. Mostly, I feel that the respiratory system is affected mostly, where the sounds is rhinitis and bronchitis. But they may have colitis. I had cases, allergic rhinitis. And, also skin eruptions, acne, very oily skin. But I don't want to bother you with so many details, to give you little details. What I want to give you and to remember, it's that essence, as we call it. They may have what's called this cervical syndrome. Another one will get this kind of feeling, in the cages, the wires in the brain, that they extend downwards. These crazy ideas, these fixed ideas. Also, they get fear of cancer quite a lot. Fixed idea that they have cancer. Also, they will have a fear of dead people. Dead people. It's very difficult for them to go. Dead people, dead. It's very difficult for them to go to a mourning, to a funeral. It is a kind of phenomenon which is a terrifying experience, brings out all the dark element which is in them. Sometimes you are going to confuse it with argentum nitricum very much, and because also there is an intolerance to tight clothes, sometimes you may confuse it with lycosis. With pulsatilla also you may confuse it, because Mancinella tends to be rather on the warm side. Without being a warm remedy, really warm remedy, it is towards the warm remedy, towards the warm. She cries a lot. She's very anxious a lot. She cries a lot. They feel a kind of, there's a Greek word parapono. Parapono. Yeah, it's not the right word exactly, complain. They feel a parapono inside and they cry. They feel, that why this has happened to me. Huh? Yeah, self-pity. Self-pity, you can say. And that brings about a kind of weeping. And they want to weep. And usually they don't like to weep in front of others. Mancinella will not very easily weep in front of you. But they will say they weep easily and they weep by themselves. Also, they are not affected positive by crying. Like by crying, by weeping, they will not feel relieved.
Smartly dressed, tidy?
Tidiness,
smartly dressed, something like that?
No, I have not noticed, no. They are better by motion, by movement. And you will see, in that respect, is like sepia. While in a party, they will not get up and dance because of timidity, of this fear of being weak in general. But in their own house, they put on the music, and they may be dancing to relieve themselves. Huh? I think that is more or less what I had to tell you. All the other is details.
George?
Yes.
Have you seen the Mancinella case with a severe chronic physical pathology?
Not yet. The pathology I have seen is like asthma, like sinusitis, like skin eruptions. Physical pathology, I have not seen severe physical pathology.
I have a case, a lady
yes.
who has this mental picture very, very closely.
Yes.
And she has a primary biliary cirrhosis.
Oh. Maybe, yes, you must try that. You must try this remedy and give me... yes. Give me the feedback. Please give that remedy and if you have cases, when I teach, you see, cases come to your mind and say, oh my God, maybe this case I have is Mancinella. You can give it and then please give me the feedback. Because make it a point, because we are not together. In Athens this happens, you see. I said, okay, you give me the feedback, but they are close to me every day and they will do it. But when I say it in my students of international gatherings, they usually next year or after 2 years when they see me again, they say, oh yes, I had a case like that, but this is not what I want. I want the feedback written on a paper.
Have you noticed any food cravings or aversions?
I have, but I'm not sure yet that they go through, steadily in the cases. I have, but I don't want to give it yet, before I am sure that I'm giving you reliable information. You see, always my remedies, what I give is not looked. That's why many times you may look in the book, and you may find some information, you may not find information in the books, because the information comes from cases that I have treated, and I applied the idea and cured them. So, most probably, when I go back and I read a remedy, I say, hey, here are some hints, here and there. It seems that 80% of the information which is given in Mind and Clark is useless, but 1 or 2 hints are applying. That is. But it's better if we have this complete picture in this way, so we can have a 3-dimensional kind of prescribing, not fear of insanity. Yes. Yes.
Did you often find that the whole process could be taken right back to a single beginning, or was it just usually a slow, insidious onset? You mentioned The Exorcist film. Is that an unusual example, or is this happening many times? Is it one thing which starts the whole process?
Yes. There is an experience which starts, usually a bad experience, which starts the whole thing. Usually it is a bad experience that triggers off the whole situation. Sometimes you will find no real causative factor. If you stuck with certain ideas, you had it in homeopathy. You see, you have always to have the possibilities, this, but your mind has to be alert all the time. Because if we had boxes, you see, that box is Mancinella, that box is this, then it's not an alive science anymore, it is allopathic science. Homeopathic science is never fixed. So your mind also should be nimble all the time, thinking that possibility, and putting the best kind of information in the best possible way together. You pick up the best information and you put it in the best way together. Sometimes you leave that symptom, you say, forget it, that's good enough. Sometimes you see a kind of picture, but you take 2 symptoms, you say, no, that's good enough. I go and go into these 2 symptoms. I want you to develop that, because then results are steady. Otherwise, anything we give, we have some results. Some results will be there. But to have steady results, to have the results to come, from a level to B to C. That's why we give that information. So we have a break, and then